The world has surpassed a crucial threshold in terms of temperature, with the key one. 5°C warming mark being exceeded for an unprecedented number of days. According to an analysis conducted by the BBC, the planet is rapidly approaching a critical threshold of warming that has many scientists worried. In the year 2023, the average global temperature exceeded pre-industrial levels by 1.5 degrees Celsius on approximately one-third of the days. Experts agree that maintaining a threshold below that marker for an extended period is essential in preventing the most catastrophic consequences of climate change. While there is no doubt that 2023 is predicted to be the hottest year on record, it is important to note that 2024 may very well surpass it in terms of temperatures. The statement made by Dr. Melissa Lazenby, a faculty member at the University of Sussex, indicates that we are achieving new heights that we have yet to experience. Following an unprecedented summer of weather extremes around the globe, as well as record-breaking temperatures in September, this new discovery has come to light. In December of 2015, political figures convened in Paris and signed a pledge. This pact stipulated that the gradual increase of global temperatures over the course of this century should be kept within a limit of 2 degrees Celsius. In addition, the leaders committed themselves to making every possible attempt to maintain this increase under 1.5 degrees Celsius. The bounds that have been set pertain to the divergence between current global mean temperatures and temperatures during the pre-industrial period, which occurred prior to 1900 and the utilization of fossil fuels. This time frame is specifically designated as ranging from 1850 to 1900. The act of surpassing these boundaries in Paris is not a temporary action lasting only a day or a week. Rather, it entails a consistent and continuous effort to exceed this limit over a span of 20 to 30 years on average. At present, the average temperature increase over a prolonged period of time stands at approximately 1.1 to 1.2 degrees Celsius. As individual days surpass the 1.5°C threshold more frequently, the world edges ever closer to breaching this threshold over the long term. In the modern era, the initial occurrence of this event took place over a brief period in December of 2015. During this time, politicians were in the process of finalizing an agreement regarding the 1.5°C threshold. In the time after this event, the boundary has been breached on multiple occasions, though usually only for brief intervals. As a result of the potent El Niño episode that year, which typically raises worldwide temperatures, approximately 75 days surpassed that threshold in 2016. According to data analysed by the BBC from the Copernicus Climate Change Service, it has been revealed that, as of October 2nd, approximately 86 days out of the year 2023 have exceeded the pre-industrial average temperature by at least 1.5°C. This surpasses the record set in 2016, and it should be noted that this has occurred well before the year's end. The precision of the number of days that have surpassed the 1.5°C threshold is somewhat questionable, as the figures represent a worldwide average that may contain slight disparities in data. Nevertheless, the extent by which 2023 has already exceeded the values from 2016 is sufficiently large to provide assurance that the previous record has already been surpassed. Dr. Lazenby expressed concern over the current state of affairs, stating that the recurring occurrence of a 1.5°C anomaly on a daily basis and for an extended period is troubling. The increase in temperature anomalies can be attributed in part to the emergence of El Niño conditions. This occurrence was recently verified, although it currently lacks the strength of the peak experienced in 2016. The atmospheric temperatures have been influenced by the transfer of heat from the eastern Pacific Ocean, which can be attributed to the current conditions. This occurrence could provide a plausible rationale for the unusual occurrence of the 1.5°C anomaly being documented during the months of June to October in 2023, when taken together with the prolonged warming caused by the combustion of fossil fuels. According to Professor Ed Hawkins, a member of the faculty at the University of Reading, the current situation is exceptional. It is the first occurrence of its kind during the Northern Hemisphere's summer season, and it is quite startling to witness the events that are unfolding. With their summer season fast approaching, our colleagues in Australia express apprehension about the potential ramifications of El Niño. The possibility of severe wildfires is a particular concern for them. Throughout September, there were several days where the temperature difference surpassed 5°C, and on some of those days the temperature difference was even greater than 8°C above the average temperature prior to the industrial era. Based on the data provided by the Copernicus Climate Change Service, the overall temperature for the month exceeded the pre-industrial level by 1.75°C. The average temperature for the year to date is approximately 1.4°C above the average temperature of the years between 1850 and 1900. Although 2023 is projected to be the warmest year to date, it is anticipated that it will not exceed the 1.5°C warming boundary as a worldwide average over the entire 12-month period. This year, the oceans of the world have been undergoing abnormally elevated temperatures, which in turn results in the release of additional heat into the atmosphere. Dr. Jennifer Francis from the Woodwell Climate Research Center in the United States states that the North Atlantic Ocean is presently at the highest temperature ever recorded. Additionally, there is a strip of atypically warm water extending from Japan to California in the North Pacific Ocean. Although the increase in average temperatures is attributable to greenhouse gas emissions, the exact factors that have caused the drastic rise in ocean temperatures remain unclear. There is a theory that remains uncertain but worth considering. The decrease in air pollution caused by shipping across the North Atlantic may have led to a decline in small particles, creating a rise in global warming. Previously, the so-called aerosols had been mitigating the impact of greenhouse gas emissions by reflecting a portion of the sun's energy and thereby preventing the Earth's surface from heating up as much as it would have otherwise. One factor that may not be as commonly acknowledged is the state of affairs surrounding Antarctica. The levels of sea ice surrounding the frigid continent have been a source of ongoing worry, as data indicates that they have fallen to unprecedented lows during the winter season. Recent temperature fluctuations in Antarctica, caused by natural variability, have led some experts to believe that two distinct temperature spikes have raised the global average. Despite this, the exact impact of human-caused long-term warming is difficult to determine with absolute certainty. Dr. Carsten Haustein, hailing from the University of Leipzig, informed that in the beginning of July there was a considerable increase in temperature in Antarctica. Although they recorded record-breaking temperatures, it is important to note that the temperature was still 20 to 30 degrees Celsius below zero. The current presence of 5°C and 8°C anomalies is attributed in part to Antarctica, as we are observing. As autumn and winter approach, the Northern Hemisphere is expected to undergo a natural cooling process. However, some experts speculate that the significant temperature variations from the pre-industrial era may continue to persist. This is particularly true as El Niño is projected to reach its peak towards the end of this year or the beginning of the next. Political leaders are set to convene in Dubai this November for the COP28 Climate Summit. Researchers caution that the persistent instances of high temperature anomalies should serve as a warning for these leaders to take action. According to experts, it is imperative to take immediate action on emissions, rather than solely focusing on long-term solutions. In March of this year, the United Nations called upon nations to hasten their efforts in taking action against climate change. They emphasized that there are viable solutions to decrease emissions available at this moment, including the use of renewable energy sources and electric vehicles. According to Professor Hawkins, the objective of achieving net zero emissions by 2050 is not the only concern. The means by which we reach this goal is equally important. According to the IPCC, which is the United Nations body for climate, there is a clear necessity to cut our emissions in half during this decade, followed by achieving net zero emissions. The objective is not solely to reach net zero at a certain point in time, but rather to chart a course toward that goal. The repercussions of climate change are becoming more evident with each passing year, as demonstrated by the recent extreme weather events, such as the scorching heat waves in Europe and the excessive rainfall in Libya. The severity of these consequences escalates with even the slightest increase in temperature. To support our channel's growth and ensure broader awareness, kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. This will help us reach more individuals and disseminate valuable information. Thank you in advance.